Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. Today we'll be taking a look at the biggest changes coming to patch 8.24, and there are quite a bit. So if you end up enjoying the video, then don't forget to hit that like button, and as usual, this video will be made in collaboration with ProGuides. It's a website that improves your overall League of Legends gameplay and knowledge, and they have a new course for preseason stuff that will help you do better in your placements to come. The link is down below, check them out. So starting things off, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest changes coming this patch, which of course is going to be the new champion, NEEKO. Now, I've personally made several videos talking about this champion and showing off the abilities and what she can do and just playstyles and everything, so if you haven't checked that out, obviously check those out. But let's do a quick rundown of the champion. So NEEKO is going to be primarily a mid lane champion. She can also potentially be played in the jungle and also supports and maybe even top lane if you really wanted to. Actually, you know what? With the meta at the moment, you could probably even play her as an AD carry. Very quickly, her abilities are passive as well. Lets her copy allies and obviously take form of them, and you also copy their current HP bar as you transform. Her Q ability is an AoE that just reprocs if you kill a target or hit a champion. Your W makes you go invisible for a brief second and sending out a clone in a direction. Your E ability is essentially Lux's Q snare ability just on steroids, and her ultimate is a massive AoE damaging ability that gives her a shield based on how many champions were around you when you activated it. But the champion focuses primarily on just kind of CCing people, doing damage from afar, but also having these tricks within her kit, like transforming into other champions, going invisible, making clones, to not only deceive her opponents, but also set up her ultimate, which is the very much opposite of what her Q and E are, which is just to be in the middle of the fight, even though she's a squishy mage, and just do a bunch of AoE damage. So once this champion comes out, be ready to start seeing duplicates of many other champions running around on Summoner's Rift. It's going to be confusing, and it is going to take a little bit to understand how she works, but once you do, I feel like her effectiveness might actually be lowered. But despite all that, I honestly believe her basic abilities, her Q and her E, which is of course the AoE splash damage and of course also the snare, are very powerful, very simple, and very effective. Because of that, I actually don't think the champion is all that difficult at the very core basic concept. But once you start including her ultimate, her passive, and even her W, that's when the champion's depth really starts to shine, and you see that the champion actually has quite a lot of different things you can do, and it's not too easy. Next, very quickly, I also want to talk about a new sick addition that they're adding to League of Legends, and this is going to be the new loading screen. But it's not just a loading screen, they're also adding tips. So for obviously, newer players and stuff, it's a pretty nice addition. But the main thing is that there's going to be a chat system as you're loading into game, which I think is a fantastic addition. So you can finally talk to your teammates in ranked as you're loading, get a strategy prepared, or maybe even flame each other or something like that before the game officially starts. But even with that being said, the loading screen itself also looks pretty damn aesthetic. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is coming out this coming patch, but it is coming out very soon. The next thing to talk about is the fact that the two new ranks, Iron and Grandmaster, are finally being added to League of Legends this patch. Now remember, not all the rank changes are coming, so the part where you play based on your role and you have a specific MMR for each individual role, that is not coming out just yet. But we are getting the new two ranks, which obviously means that now there will be a tier under Bronze, and there also is going to be a tier in between Master and Challenger. This also means all Master and Plus players are going to get reset down to Master 0 LP just for the duration of preseason, of course, until the actual ranked resets later on. Also, don't forget that all 5 ranks are getting removed. So for instance, Diamond 5, Silver 5, Bronze 5, Gold 5, Platinum 5, all of that is gone, and the lowest one in each specific tier is now 4, so Diamond 4, Platinum 4, etc. And of course, all of the ranked emblems are going to be changed to look new and fresh. So maybe, just maybe, we can actually start our journey to Grandmaster right now in preseason as kind of a warm-up and see if we can get there before the season ends. And the final thing before we jump into the actual champion changes themselves is going to be Nexus Blitz 2.0 is coming to the live service, I believe, this coming patch. This is a great game mode that actually takes League of Legends and puts a little bit of a spin and twist on it that is probably one of the best game modes they have released so far. This is going to be kind of a new version of it where it just looks better, it's more aesthetic, and there's also a new game modes as well, plus a couple of new items. So definitely look forward to that in just a few days. But now let's talk about the buffs and nerfs coming over to the champion. Starting things off is going to be Aatrox, and it's going to be a nerf towards his Q ability, the Darkened Blade. No longer will this ability do extra 10% bonus damage to monsters. Not the best nerf in the entire world, however, what this might change is mid-smite Aatrox will be less powerful, and Aatrox in general, even if you're playing him as a top lane or if you just decide to play him as a jungle, would be just less effective at taking the jungle monsters, because again, don't forget, monsters refers to the jungle camps. Minions are of course the lane minions. So this does not affect his laning phase itself whatsoever, just if you decide to either play him in the jungle or do smite mid Aatrox or take any jungle whatsoever. But even then, 10% really not that much. Moving along, we finally have a nerf coming over to Akali, and I'm sure a lot of people are quite happy about this. The nerf is as follows. It's going to be towards her W, Twilight Shroud. The base duration on this ability has been lowered across the board by 1 second, and the max duration has also been lowered by 2 seconds across the board as well. In other words, Akali's W, when you use it, will just not last as long anymore. So whether she's using it to abuse the laning phase and harass you, whether she's trying to tower dive with it, it'll just not be as effective. But I'm sure a good Akali player will still work off of it quite well, and it shouldn't make too much of a difference either way. Moving along, we have a quick nerf coming over to Camille, where her attack speed has been lowered from 0.644 to 0.624. Now, at first it seems like a decent change because, you know, Camille ults someone, then her auto attack started doing percent HP damage and stuff like that, which, yeah, it kind of makes sense, you know, I like it. But if you really think about it, it's not all that big of a nerf because Camille has 2 auto attack resets, being her double Q, of course. So that doesn't really look into attack speed as much, so that nerf essentially doesn't apply whatsoever. And Camille usually, at least late game, doesn't really just stand there and auto attack you. She usually just plays around with her abilities, goes in, auto attack Qs, runs around, maybe throws a W in, waits for the ultimate to dodge something, gets another auto attack Q for the second proc with a time mats. So she doesn't make use of the actual attack speed. But having said that, maybe Camille jungle might receive a bit of a hit. So that's probably what they were targeting. Moving along, we have some buffs coming over to Mr. Galio, a champion I've personally not seen very often. So, starting things off with his Q ability, Winds of War. The mana cost on this has been lowered. The damage on this has also been increased, not only with the base damage, but also with the AP ratio. But to kind of make up for this in a way, the second part of his Q ability, when the 2 winds kind of collide and create that wind blast in the center for a couple of seconds, no longer does that do actual just flat damage. Now it actually does flat percent damage starting at 6%, and it scales plus 4% per 100 AP of the enemy's max HP. So in other words, it's a little bit weaker overall, I would say, in the laning phase, but especially if you're facing a tank later on, it's going to be a lot more powerful, and even against a non-tank, honestly, it's still going to be quite damn strong. But it doesn't stop there just yet, because as we move on to his ultimate, Hero's Entrance, the cast duration has been lowered by just 0.25 seconds, so it'll just be a tad faster, but it also has a changed effect that no longer knocks up enemies in the center for a longer duration. Instead, all enemies hit by Hero's Entrance are knocked up for 0.75 seconds. Comparing that to the old ultimate, it before actually did 0.75 seconds to people on the outer part and 1.25 to people on the center, so now it's just a little bit weaker in that sense, but it does kind of make up for the fact that he does fly to his target a tad quicker. Moving along, we have some buffs coming over to Alawe. Starting off with her E, Test of Spirit, the cooldown on this ability has been lowered by 4 seconds at rank 1, and then it goes down to being 12, which is the same by rank 5. This is actually quite a big buff in my opinion to Alawe, because again, her E ability, being the one that pulls the spirit out, is without question her most important ability in the laning phase, next to maybe her Q. Because landing this in the laning phase and now having a 4 second less cooldown is gonna be huge, right? This is her main form of harass. If you get hit by it, you're going to be taking a lot of damage, and it's just her bread and butter. So having a 4 second lower cooldown will make her laning phase more powerful, but it doesn't stop there just yet. Moving on to her ultimate, Leap of Faith. The cooldown on this ability has also been lowered as you rank it up. So rank 1 is the same, rank 2 it's a 10-second shorter duration, rank 3 20 seconds. Next on the list, we have some nerfs coming over to Irelia, being her W, Defiant Blade. The cooldown on this ability has been increased by 4 seconds at rank 1, but it's the same by rank 5, so kind of the reverse effect of what Alawe's E just got. And all incoming damage while channeling your W has been reduced from 50% to 40%. So obviously this is without question a nerf to Irelia. However, is it a big nerf? Honestly, I don't really think it is. I don't think this is really targeting the biggest issues of the champion. I mean, this will help and this will make her a bit weaker, but I don't think this will bring Irelia down to the level she should be at, and I still think she's going to be very powerful regardless of this nerf. Moving along, we have a quick nerf coming over to LeBlanc, being her W, Distortion, where the cooldown has been increased by 4 seconds at rank 1 down to 10 seconds by rank 5, which is the same. Similar to Irelia's nerf just now, this is actually a decent one, and I think this will actually hurt LeBlanc more than the Irelia nerf will hurt Irelia, and the reason is because LeBlanc's laning phase is known to be aggressive. That is her best heart. Increasing her W by 4 seconds by rank 1 is a decent amount. It'll weaken her laning phase for sure. It'll weaken her harass as well. However, at least her W is the first ability she maxes, so she shouldn't be feeling the negativities from this nerf, I guess, too much. But the first couple of levels in the laning phase should be a little bit more, I guess, easier for the person facing the LeBlanc. And the last change coming to the champions is going to be towards a Victor, a very abusive champion at the moment with Klepto, especially in the top lane. So the nerfs, I hope, are going to be good. Let's take a look. Siphon Power, his Q. The cooldown has been increased on this ability every single rank by 1 second, and the damage has also been lowered. Only 10 by rank 1, but total of 30 rank 5. Moving along, his E ability Death Ray, the cooldown on this ability has also been increased by 1 second every rank. However, the AP ratio has been increased by 10%. So his E ability obviously isn't the biggest, I guess, offender in his kit, which is why they kind of gave it a little bit of an extra damage, even though they still increased the cooldown. His Q ability is the biggest offender, so it got not only an increased cooldown, even though only 1 second isn't all that much in my opinion, but the damage has been lowered as well by 30 by rank 5. Hopefully this is going to be enough to bring Victor down a few notches, though for some reason I feel like it's not going to be. Next, we also have a quick nerf coming over to Dark Harvest, since League of Legends at the moment is literally League of Dark Harvest. The damage has been lowered from 40 to 80 to now being 20 to 60, so a flat 20 damage reduction. This should make it less, I guess, optimal to take it on literally every single champion in the game, but only the champions that can truly abuse it will now take it, I hope. And last but not least, guys, we have a bunch of new skins coming out as well, especially to celebrate Christmas. We have Frozen Prince Mundo, Winter Wonder Soraka, Ice King Twitch, Snowman Yi, and of course also Hextech Renekton and KDA Akali Prestige Edition. But either way, guys, that is going to be about it for this video. There you have it, a bunch of new changes coming to this patch. We have a bunch of changes to the champions, new champion coming out being NEEKO, new rank changes, we have the new Nexus Blitz, and a bunch of other stuff as well. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to hit that like button. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you for the next video. Peace.